Alright, so in this video, I just want to give you a quick intro to how to attack a homework 1, which is to give a shot at developing a measure in Qualtrics. So first thing you're going to do is go to Qualtrics. Clemson has an account all set up for you, so you can go to clemson.ca.1.qualtrics. The link is in the study slides, or if you just Google Clemson Qualtrics, you should be able to find it. So once you've logged in, what you're going to want to do is find a button that says something like Create a New Project, and click it. And after you've done that, the project you're going to want to create is a survey, and go ahead and click the Get Started button. It's going to give you a blank survey. If you want to, you could give it a title, something like Marketing Assignment 1, and we're going to go start about creating our scale. It defaults you with a multiple choice scale. That's probably not what you're going to be using. Probably you're going to be using one of the three types of scales that we have discussed in class, which is either a Likert scale, a semantic differential scale, or some hybrid mix of the two. These are really easy to create in Qualtrics. All you have to do is go over here and change your scale type to matrix table. If you are creating a Likert scale, which is a series of statements that you want the study participant to agree or disagree with, there's a really simple way to do that. You go over here and click the automatic scale points button. It automatically populates in there the correct Likert headings. Alright, so what I like to do though is I like to double click on this, or just click on this drop down and click reverse order, so that in the data higher numbers are going to be represented with more agreement versus the other way around. So now that I have my scale set up, I could just go through here and put in a bunch of statements. So for example, the example that we went through in class was the Colin Kaepernick example, which I had up just 1 second ago. Give me 1 minute. Okay, so the example we went through in class is we looked at some of the questions that were at the end of the case, and we thought about how could we take these questions and transform them into a statement that people might agree or disagree with, and that way we could get a pulse of our customers or whoever it is we want to poll about this issue. So the one that most of us kind of zeroed in on, or a lot of the team zeroed in on early on, was this question: should a company like Nike get involved in matters of political controversy and social justice? So we can just go ahead and grab that and go back to Qualtrics and put that in our statement. And instead of saying should a company, we'll just say companies. Oh, this is a fun, interesting thing with Qualtrics. Sometimes it just turns off your spacebar inexplicably. So there we go. We got it back. So if that happens to you, just click out of the box and click back in. It should start working again. That's very bizarre. Anyway, companies like Nike maybe should get involved in matters of political controversy. We'll put a period at the end of there. Now we have a statement. And people can either agree or disagree with that statement. Now, maybe it's not entirely clear what political controversy means to everybody, so we might want to ask a question in a different way. So we'll go ahead and copy that, put it down here. Companies like Nike should get involved in matters of social justice. And also, maybe that's not entirely clear to the people taking our survey, so what we might want to do is come up with another statement that's kind of asking the same way, but maybe it tells a little bit about more like what do we mean by getting involved. And we would want to come up with as many items as we can kind of think about that all are kind of getting at that same issue, the extent to which people think it's appropriate for a company to take a political stance, I guess, in this case. Now what I want you to do next in the thing is what I like you to do is add a note to your question or your scale that you've asked. Sorry, not a question. The scale that you're creating, add a note and just put in there the name of your scale, what you want to call it. So maybe we'll call it acceptability of corporate political stances. It's a terrible name. CPS, corporate political stances. Go ahead and post that. And then maybe add another note or a comment that is just the description. So the conceptualization of what this is. So my conceptualization is ACPS is measures the extent to which whatever. Okay, however you're thinking about this measure and what it's supposed to tap into and how you would define it in 1 or 2 sentences. And give that a shot and you should be good to go. Okay, if you don't want to go the Likert scale route, you can also do a semantic differential, in which case you would still do a matrix table, but instead of clicking the automatic scale points, what you would click is go down here and click bipolar. And then you could put something like inappropriate, so forth. Probably we'll talk more in detail about this on Tuesday, but probably you're going to want to do more something like 7 scale points, and then maybe also put some labels in between those scale points, just to reinforce the idea that this is an interval scale where the points between these dots are assumed to be of equal intervals. And then some sort of question stem for that. Just one more, sometimes with the hybrid of it, you would go back to a matrix table again if you want to use a hybrid scale, and you would still do maybe and you might create your own labels this time, not at all, and then probably more like something along these lines. Looks like not at all 0 up to extremely 7. Alright, so I think that should hopefully get you, give you what you need to know in order to put the scale up together on Qualtrics. Really what it'd be better to spend most of your time thinking about is like what are different ways at getting at this as a concept. Different questions or different items, more precisely, that we could collect that would all sort of correlate with one another and try to help us measure in an accurate, reliable way this sort of concept that we've come up with. All right, so good luck with that. If you struggle, don't worry, just give it your best shot, and we will bring what we have into class on Tuesday and finish up there. Have a good weekend.